back to Elevation 44. It's your girl B. If you're new to the channel, welcome. And if you're returning, welcome back, family. So today, the time that I'm filming this video is April 19th, and this is officially the start of Taurus season. So we are going to get into all things Taurian, okay? We're going to talk about what it means when the sun moves into the sign of Taurus, as well as all of the transits that are going to be happening during this entire Taurus season. So obviously we're going to, go through that, and then we're going to go through, my herb and crystal recommendations so that you can best utilize this energy for the entire season, okay? If you're new, we do this every single month. We talk about all the transits and the particular zodiac season, and we just kind of get right into the nitty gritty. So if you aren't subscribed, go on ahead and join the family, okay? Hit that subscribe button. And I just want to say, man, I can't believe we're actually at 10,000 people in the family. We just reached this milestone. So I'm so excited to have all of you here in the family and to see that we're all growing, we're ascending together, and that this information is being, valuable to so many people. So I'm really excited about that, and I will say that I am still doing the giveaway, okay? So be on the lookout for those details. I did promise when we get to 10K I would do a giveaway, and it is coming. So make sure that you're subscribed as well so that you don't miss out on those details. I'll probably put that in the community tab of my page. So you want to be subscribed so that you can see when I post that, okay? So without further ado, let's get into Taurus season. And Taurus season is here to slow us down, because in Aries season we were go, 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 go. We were just so excited to just get up and get our plans off the ground, to put things in motion. I saw so many people launching new things, new products, new businesses, there were so many new things that popped up in Aries season, and that was wonderful to see. But sometimes we gotta now take some time to dial it back a little bit. We've set the balls in motion. Now we have to see what long-term are we trying to do. Long-term, how is this going to play out? And it's not about taking all that energy that we felt in Aries season, where we just kind of are so excited to tackle so many different things and scatter our energy. But it's now time to slow down in tunnel vision and focus our energy behind just one thing or a few things, right? We don't want to be so scattered, and we don't want our energy and our efforts to be wasted, because sometimes when your energy is too spread out, things aren't pushed further or long term or going that extra distance, right? It's better to put a lot of your energy behind one or two things that you're focusing on. So that is really what Taurus season is helping us do. It's helping us slow down. This energy is if anybody knows Taurian, if you got Taurian energy, they are the slowest movers in terms of making decisions, in terms of, changing their mind on things. It is really about just slowness. It's about patience. It can be a little stubborn. I'm not gonna lie, it can be very stubborn, not a little stubborn. It can be very stubborn under this energy, but it's really about being methodical, keeping the long-term goal in mind, and really working towards that, and putting the energy into one bucket, or very few things, so that you can see it go the distance. It's about finishing. So if Aries is about starting and getting the ball moving, Taurus is the opposite. It's about finishing, it's about closing, it's about making sure it gets completed, okay? So this energy is really here to help us ground our plans, to go the long distance with them, okay? So to make it happen. And that is something that is a challenge for a lot of people. It's easy to get things off the ground, but it's harder to see it through, especially when the tests and the challenges start coming in to kind of challenge us. So those are the things that we need to keep in mind. So this is also an energy that's very connected to the physical or the material realm, okay? Taurus traditionally rules, not traditionally, but it also rules over the second house, right? And the second house is our money, it's our wealth, it's our possessions, it's our resources, it is our values, it is our pleasures, our comforts, our self-worth. The second house has so much that it encompasses. I mean, a lot of people just talk about the house of money, but it is a lot about the things that we can see, that we can touch, that are material, that we can have a firm grasp on, right? And it's about mastery of that. And it's about mastery of self, and it's also about pouring into self. It's about self-love. This is the energy that is prime for self-love and nurturing of self. What do you need? What makes you happy? Those are the types of themes that are going to be popping up during Taurus season, okay? So with this sun moving to Taurus, there are things that we need to keep in mind, because there are some, conversations happening with the other planets as the sun moves through Taurus this season. The first is that it's going to be squaring or having tension with Saturn and Jupiter in Aquarius, okay? Now, what this brings in is some of the tests and challenges that I talked about a second ago, which really are discouraging when we're trying to reach our goals. They come in, those tests and challenges come in to test and challenge us to see if this is what we want. Can we go the distance? How are we going to pivot? How are we going to learn? How are we going to grow through these challenges? This is what comes in, but it's very discouraging, and it can feel very heavy. You can feel overall restricted. You can feel limited in certain ways with this particular transit. You can feel like, you just have a overall heavy feeling of responsibility. So some of these things can be, the feelings that you're having with this particular transit happening. Another thing that is, especially with that Jupiter having that tension with the sun in Taurus, we're talking about overindulging. Overindulging can be a thing, and that is because Taurus is very much tied to comfort and pleasure. So anything that you find pleasurable, whether it be shopping, whether it be food, whether it be, alcohol, anything can be taken into the excess. So you definitely want to not allow those frustrations and those restrictions and those things that you're feeling and that discouragement take you into the part where you're now self-medicating or self-soothing through overindulgence, right? So that's something that I want to keep in mind. So moderation is key, and being patient and focusing on one thing at a time is definitely going to help you with this, okay? Another thing that is going to be happening with the sun in Taurus is that it's going to be trining with Pluto, and trine is just a very synergistic type of energy. It's harmonious, it feels good, it's like similarities, right? So with Pluto in Capricorn, this trine that's going to be happening is going to be activating our personal power. So when I go back to the whole thing about nurturing ourselves, this activation of personal power is going to come in because, some of us are being pushed into roles of leadership and into personal influence and the influence that we have in our space and around others, okay? And then that's going to be supported because this sun is also going to be conjuncting, which is blending its energy with Uranus that's been in Taurus for a while. So this is going to trigger unexpected changes, and it's going to be pushing us more in the direction of where we need to go. So I just want to, highlight that for you guys so that you understand what are some of the things that can be popping up as the sun moves through Taurus, okay? But it's generally a time of slowing down. Now, on the same day, 4/19, Mercury is also moving into Taurus at the same time the sun is, okay? So Mercury is our communication, our reasoning, our thinking, how we process information, right? Mercury, when in Aries, was just very hot, very fiery, just, a lot of things were, you had your interest in a lot of things, your mind is racing, you want to do a lot of things, your energy is kind of scattered, you just, you want adventure and you want things that are just going to consistently stimulate you. It's also that energy with that was about, speak first, think later, the impulsive energy, fiery, hot-tempered sometimes. And so all of that kind of changes when it moves into Taurus. because here we're talking about it slowing down. It's talking about us just really thinking about the things that we do before we do them, before we say them. It's about taking our time to make decisions. So it's all of the opposite of what we experienced in Aries season. Now on 4/23, the next thing that is happening is that Mars is moving into Cancer, okay? Now Mars was in Gemini, and Mars in Gemini is, when I tell you scattered energy times 10, it's scattered energy times 10. That is just like, you are just all over the place with your energy because you just have so many different things you want to put your energy into. But in Cancer, it's a much different energy, okay? So Gemini was restless, and it was just, your mind is restless, your body is restless, and you just want to multitask and you want to do a lot of things. Now, Cancer is more about focusing on your ideas and your communication. It's more of an inward type of energy. And this Mars in Cancer can be considered like a passive aggressive type of energy. It's about being moved by your feelings. Mars doesn't do well here because it's slow, it's internal, and Mars wants to outwardly project. Mars wants to go, Mars wants to keep it moving, and it's not a placement where it feels very comfortable because it's just kind of internal. It's almost like similar to the Pisces placement, which is another water sign, where Mars just kind of feels like, oh, what is going on here? Get me the hell out of here. With Cancer, it's kind of a similar feeling, okay? So this transit can make us feel moody, sensitive. It can be fearful, make you fearful of confrontation, but also defensive. Even though you're fearful of confrontation because it's kind of like that passive aggressiveness, you can get really defensive and snappy and moody, and it's just like that energy can be very just, you know what I mean? Think about the crab and how it's just like, you walk up on it and it's just pinching you. That is literally like, you know, it's like defensiveness is like the best method. It feels like under this particular transit. So emotional manipulation is also something that is definitely high up on the list with this, so watch out for that, and just kind of watch out for your defensiveness and just taking things to heart when it doesn't really need to be that serious, okay? Now let's move on to 4/26, and this is when our Scorpio full moon is happening, which is also going to be a pink super moon. Yeah, I was like, I wanted to make sure I get that right, okay? So this is our pink super moon, our pink moon, okay? And this is a super moon because it's just gonna be closer to the earth, so it's gonna look bigger, it's gonna look brighter, and the energy is gonna be felt more intensely, okay? And the pink moon just coincides with the spring season and the pink moss that grows. So it's not that the moon is actually pink, it's just a correlation of that, all right? So this is going to be a energy that is focused on, again, Scorpio energy is really about like achievement. It's about outside of Capricorn. I want to say Scorpio is the second most like goal-oriented and focused on results and achievement type of energy, okay? So this is really a lot what this energy is going to bring in, which is interesting that it always coincides with Taurus season, which helps us to see the distance and to focus on our long-term strategy, okay? So this is super ambitious energy. It's focused on achievement. The new moon that we had in Scorpio 6 months back, we set some goals. So now this is the time to see the fruits of that, what you set into motion there, and the things that you were focusing on there, the seeds that you planted, okay? So now we get to see the fruits of that, all right? So let's move on to the same day, because on 4/26 we also have something happening, which is Pluto. Pluto is going to be going retrograde. Now Pluto, okay, Pluto is a very, very interesting energy. It's very intense, it's very deep, but it's really about power and control. And when you're talking about a retrograde, this is when the energy is kind of, it's a retrograde really is when a planet looks like it's going backwards in the sky. It's kind of an illusion, but it's like the energy slows down and it redirects, okay? So during a retrograde, that is what happens. So during a retrograde, it's all about reviewing, reflecting, and that's what we're going to be doing, reflecting on power and control, okay? So this is definitely about personal mastery. This is about experiencing sometimes intense situations, events, things that are going to illuminate the power and control issues that we have in our lives, to trigger also internal transformation. So this is a very transformative type of energy. And if you want to understand where it's going to impact you the most, you want to look at the house that this Pluto, transit is happening in for you. So find Pluto on your transit and natal chart and make sure you find the house so that you can see maybe what area of life this is a real issue for you, and maybe where you'll be experiencing some changes, okay? So that's that with the Pluto retrograde. Now, that retrograde is also going to go until October 6th. Moving along, May 3rd. We're in May now. Mercury is moving again. Mercury is moving fast, and Mercury is now in Gemini. And Mercury is at home in Gemini, okay? At home here, this is where Mercury functions its best. I want to say that Mercury in Gemini is a blessing for all things communication. It is the masculine expression of Mercury's energy because it's all about outwardly projecting. So it's about self-expression. It really is about expressing yourself, your ideas, communicating. So it's writing, it's speaking, it's teaching, it's also learning, it's studying, anything that has to do with processing information and sharing information in any way, shape, or form. This is the energy that it blesses that. So if you have any of those things that you are doing, this is the energy you want to capitalize on. If you have any of those things that you want to do, this is an energy that you want to capitalize on, okay? Curiosity, having many interests, being quick-minded and open-minded are all traits of this energy. This energy can also lend itself to making us feel restless, nervous, and sometimes it won't allow us to go deep in one area because we'll have many interests. But I feel like a lot of that's going to be counteracted with the Taurus sun. So I don't think we have to worry about that as much, okay? This is also an energy that can be very flip-floppy because you're changing your mind very quickly because you're staying open, and you can just flip-flop on things very quickly. Like, oh yeah, one day I like this and I was believing this, but now I heard something else and now I'm going in this direction. It's kind of like that, okay? Now, it's also going to be conjuncting the North Node, which is our collective destiny, where we're going collectively. So it's moving us towards communicating about fulfilling our purpose and opening up and showing us new paths forward, okay? So this is going to be actually a really, really good energy that comes in and helps us push us along. On May 8th, we have Venus, and Venus is moving into the sign of Gemini, okay? So if we talk about flip-floppy, this is another flip-flop type of energy. It's a very flaky energy, and if you guys know and you've watched my Venus videos, you know that this is my least favorite Venus placement because of that reason. It can be very flip-floppy, very flaky in relationships, very flaky in commitment, very flaky when and it actually also flip-flops other things that Venus has influence on, like your money, your values. Like, it can be all over the place, okay? So this energy makes us, just highly curious. It makes us want a lot of variety. And sometimes that can be hard if you are looking for people to commit to certain things, or do, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, it could be a little rough. On May 11th, let's move along because we have a new moon in Taurus. And when I talked about us pouring into ourselves and nurturing ourselves, this new moon is going to help us set some more intentions around that, taking care of ourselves. Sometimes we're moving so fast, we're not taking care of ourselves. And this is just really helping us center and focus back on taking care of ourselves, on the things that make us happy, and focusing on that. It's about nurturing and nurturing self. So that is what's going to be happening with this new moon in Taurus, and you gotta, subscribe so you can hear all about those details when I drop the Taurus new moon video, all right? And then the last thing that I'm gonna talk about and going to wrap this video up is Jupiter. Jupiter is moving out of Aquarius and into Pisces, and it's gonna be there temporarily, but then it's gonna retrograde back into Aquarius at some point, and we'll talk about that later. But Jupiter in Pisces is a beautiful energy. It's such a nice energy because Jupiter is the traditional ruler of Pisces. Neptune is more of the modern ruler, but Jupiter is the traditional ruler. So Jupiter is very comfortable and at home in Pisces energy, okay? So this is a very auspicious placement. And all of Jupiter's greatest qualities, abundance, expansion, and all of that good stuff, creativity, all of that gets just multiplied here in Pisces, and all on the themes of like imagination, spirituality, creativity, intuition, our psychic gifts and abilities. All of that are, gets really expanded here in this way. This is also an energy that activates a lot of healers, like, when you talk about healing others and having that compassion and tapping, using our intuition to guide forward and heal other people, this is that energy that is present when a lot of that stuff is happening, okay? And using your intuition, your higher source or higher self to guide you forward is definitely what this is going to help us do. The danger though of this energy is getting just kind of absorbed in because it's like so emotional and so tied to the feeling and the depth of that we can get absorbed and lost in other people's energy and other, emotions and stuff like that. So definitely want to be setting some boundaries, wanting to cleanse yourself constantly or regularly, and just, make sure that you're not, getting too far down into another energy vortex where people are sucking you in with their energy, okay? So to recap, in Taurus season, the focus is about grounding our plans. It's about being patient, taking our time, and focusing on one thing at a time, those long-term goals, okay? It's all about, the balance of power control in our lives and our personal mastery. It's a great time for our self-expression. It's also a great time for self-love or nurturing of self. It's on focusing what brings us happy and using our intuition to guide us forward. So the crystal recommendation that I have for this particular season, there are two. Rose quartz, which is going to be all about that self-love, which is really what Taurus is bringing in a lot for us. And the second one is lapis lazuli, which is going to be helping us with our communication during this time, especially as that Mercury moves through Gemini. We definitely want to capitalize on that, okay? And then the herb that I would recommend you using is going to actually be a flower. It's the best one to use during Taurus season, which is rose, okay? And use it. And you can use essential oil, you can use it in your bath, you can use it in your tea, you can use it in your food. You can burn it as incense. You can use rose in so many multitudes of ways. You can put fresh roses in your house, you can grow roses, you can plant them. Go crazy with the rose because that is actually going to help capitalize on this energy. And if you have a solar return during Taurus season, let me know in the comments down below. We're gonna shout you out. Happy solar return to all my Taurians out there. I love Taurian energy. I just love it because it just really focuses on taking care of yourself. And I don't know if you guys struggle with that. Sometimes I struggle with that because I'm moving 100 miles an hour and I need time to slow down and really take care of myself. So I always love when this energy comes through because of that, okay? So I will see you guys in the next video. I hope you have a great Taurus season. It's gonna be great. You're gonna love on yourself. You're gonna take care of yourself. You're gonna slow down and not be so impulsive and not be so fiery. And we're going to be focused on those long-term plans and goals, and it's all going to work out. Okay, so I will see you all in the next video. Have a good one. Peace.